Hi, this is Bonnie from Fairy Stamper Hugs Design Team, and today I'm going to kind of like totally wing it. I've not made this before. I have used obviously the gel press before, but I haven't done what I'm going to be trying to do today. It's going to be a little bit of a twist. I am going to be using Ania's tree from Fairy Hugs, and it is a fairly large stamp. And you need to allow for that when you go to make your card. This basically is about 5 inches by a little bit more than 4 inches across. So my plan is to use this 5 by 7, which will fit it fine, but I might end up having to add stuff to the outside of it when I go to make it. Another thing I'm going to be using is a dictionary page. I pulled out the one that has the word tree on it. So obviously it's going to be a one-time thing to use this particular paper. And I'm also going to be using Distress Oxide. And I think the last time that I shared a video, I actually used my blending brushes on the gel plate. I'm going to be doing that again today. And I'm going to be keeping in mind about where this is going to be situated, because I am going to make this part right here look more like a moon, sort of. So to start, I am going to be using Distress Oxide Scattered Straw, and I'm making it a little bit darker than what I normally use the Pumice Stone because of how it's going to show up on the dictionary page. So the first thing, like I said, I'm going to do is the moon. And again, I'm going to get an idea about where that's going to be. Does it need to be perfect? Because it's not going to be a perfect type of a background. So I'm making a circle right now. I don't know if you can see that. I can see it on my phone as I'm filming. So I'm thinking it might not be perfect, but I can see it. And then the next color I'm going to use, because I'm going to be making a sky, is I'm going to be using Peacock feathers. And that, again, we've got to be careful. We're going to end up with some green. So I'm going to kind of keep the peacock feathers away from that as best I can. It will blend. I'm just not going to purposefully make it that close. So, and I don't care if it ends up blending a little bit with it. Now you can also still do this. I could have done this directly to the paper and gotten a similar look like I've done before with the blending brushes, but I've decided to go this route. And I'm going to bring that down a little bit. I am going to be adding another color. But again, I'm going to keep this in mind about how this is going to go so you can see the difference. And I'm just going to add a little bit more there. All right, then the other color I'm going to add to the sky is Blueprint Sketch. And that's because it's a little bit brighter blue. And I'm going to go ahead and use the same brush and add that to it. So it's going to be kind of a semi-quick look to making this. Okay. And then I wanted to randomly add some Seedless preserves to that also. I like the color of that, and I am going to pick up another brush and just randomly add that. Just a little bit throughout. It's going to blend up a little bit, so I'm just tapping it in some places. I think I'm going to go for the edges a little bit more. It's no rhyme or reason, just a little bit of randomness. And then I'm going to work on the grass part down here. And I picked 2 colors for that. I picked Crushed Olive. And again, I'm going to use a different brush. And that's just going to come up here. And just like if I was going to have it like sort of like a hill or whatever, I'm going to pull that tree again. It's going to be a little bit, you can see how it's going to be up there. And then I'm going to have a darker green down below. So it's really nice having these prints that are on our stamps, because it really does allow for you to see how it could look. I'm going to use the same brush, and now I'm using Mowed Lawn. And I'm just going to go a little bit like that. It's going to be mostly green down there. So, and that's fine because I can add things to it later if I want. So that's all set up. So the next thing I wanted to do, and we've done this before too, is I am going to be using pigment powder. This one is Cosmic Shimmer, Pixie Powder, Ancient Copper. Because I like the shimmer when I go to use this. And I don't need very much because I'm just doing this one today. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of water in there. And give me some. It's really pretty. You can't always see it in a video, but you can really see it on the paper, so it's really good to do it. And all I'm going to do is flick. Well, I need a little bit more water. It's not flicking. Okay. Try a little bit more water in there. I tend to make a really big mess when I do this. I watch some people and it's like, how do they get those spots just the way they do? But it looks good. I think you can see the spots on there. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit so you can see that better. There we go. Or I can even bring that up. You can see there are splatters in there. All right, so keeping this brush with a little bit of the shimmer still on it, I am going to give this a little itty bitty spritz. You can see the big, the big blobs on there, and then I'm going to slightly swipe. I did this one time before. It just gives a different look, and it blends in some of the colors. Now you don't have to use this. You can use any kind of a tool. You can even use your paper towels and whatnot if you want anything that has a background or it gives you some texture. So that's basically all I'm going to do. That's how easy this background is going to be. And then I'm going to take my paper. And I do want to get the word, like I said, tree in there. And I know this is very light. It's not a watercolor or anything. I'm trying to make sure I got this right. I could have just cut it, but I didn't want to because I didn't know how much I would add to it. So we're just going to go with that. And like I said, I haven't done this before, so if this doesn't work out, start my video over again. Yeah, it's working. And that worked out really nicely. You can see how pretty that is. And then I'm going to let this dry. And then I'm going to stamp the tree. And you can see how that will work for that. And I'll be right back after this dries up a bit. Okay, so you're going to laugh at me a little bit because I forgot this was going to be reversed. I totally forgot. But that's okay because it's still going to work out. I was hoping the moon was going to be closer to this side. But you know what? It still works because the moon is behind the tree and that works perfect for me no matter what. So this is how I'm going to set up the stamp. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that with a VersaFine Clair Pinecone. You know what you can do is you can actually leave this right where you want it. And you can put your stamp right on top of it. And then bring your lid over and it pulls it up and you just take this piece off. So again, I'm going to use VersaFine Clair Pinecone. And this is the first time I've actually stamped this one up. I've been waiting to use this stamp. It's so pretty. Ania did a beautiful job designing this. Okay. And you can still see the word tree all along the side. This will be great even for a journal page. For those people that like to do journals, this would be really super to add to it. But I'm probably going to cut this back. I'll probably tear it because I think I want a more of a torn look, and I'm going to frame it. So it's not going to be a card. Now let's see if I can get that to stay down. Yep. All right, I need to do a little bit more stamping. I missed that centerpiece. It's still on the ink is still on the stamp. I didn't push well right there. This will work. I need to get one of those new tools that people are using right now that looks like a tool or something you would use a game, you know, when you do air hockey. I need to get one of those air hockey things that you push the puck across with. I don't even know what it's called. But I think that's what I'm going to be getting. There. Now we have a really, really, really lovely stamp. See how pretty that is? Such a pretty. I don't even think, I was going to color this in brown, and I don't even think I'm going to do that. I like it so well, just the way it is, that I do not think I am going to color that in. And it just really works really well. I just actually really like it just like this. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss that and with clear embossing powder, and I'll be right back. All right, so I decided to add a sentiment. I'm going to add Wisdom Begins in Wonder. Right here at the bottom, there was room. There was another sentiment I really liked, but I didn't allow for the space on here to stamp it. But this one works great. And I'm going to go ahead and still use, you know what, I think I'm going to use, Nocturne for this. And like you do it in your journal page, you don't have to add the sentiment, but it's kind of a nice sentiment. It works really great. Okay. That one works, and it blends in really well. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to use something that just came out, new release. It is the birds, and I'm going to be putting those up here at the top. And I think I'm going to use Bluebell. Yep. So, just to have a different color. The one little bird is up there at the top. It might not make it in my frame, but I think it's good. Okay. Take that piece off. Use the Bluebell. There we go. That worked out really, really well. I'm really pleased with how that worked. Like I said, that's going to be the new stamp that just came out. One of the many new stamps that just came out. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss those, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm just about finished. I decided to add some gold gel pen around the tree, basically kind of like, well, I'll just walk, there we go. I just drew over that piece because I couldn't see. As you can see, I kind of like just outlined part of it, not the top part, but the bottom part around the tree. And I'm going to finish it up off screen, but just to show you, I did underneath. And I'll also have a picture at the beginning so that if you want to see it, or you could also be able to go to my blog. And my blog is Grandma Bonnie's Place, and I can put a link down below. Everything that I'm using will be down below in the description, and so you know what it is I used. Anyway, so that's what I'm gonna finish doing that all the way around the tree. And then what I did is I also did just underneath the birds. It doesn't need a lot because they really show up nicely without it. It's just if you want to do some more playing and coloring. So that's the other thing I did. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish that after I get done filming, and you'll be able to see what that looks like. So I want, again, to thank you for stopping by. And if you could like this video, that would be super. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, that would be fabulous. And I also wanted to remind you about the Facebook group called Fairy Stamper Hugs. And every other Thursday, every 2 weeks on Thursday, we start a new challenge. And basically, it's a magical challenge, so you can pretty much use anything you want that has to do. That's magical fairies, dragons, anything that you think is magical, or anything that comes from the Fairy Stamper store, you can share there. So again, thanks for stopping by. Talk to you again soon.